So everything's all screwed up with David. A lot of it is mine with the doctors and David just not wanting to do what he's supposed to. But see, people complain, right? About, oh, I need money for food. No, give me 300 in rent money and I'll go find food. You give me bus fare and rent money and I'll go find my own food by doing favors for people. See this can? You think I got this from the food pantry? No, I got this from a business in the area that did not want it. Now, there's one little problem. It's good. I got years on it. Actually, sorry, this one has a month and a couple days on it. I got a month and a couple days. But look at the size of that. I mean, I got long ass fingers and I shake. I was using both hands to hold this steady, so I'm sorry I lose steadiness. But um, as you can see, that's a pretty big can because I got big hands. Let's do the thumb. Okay, there's the barcode. That gives you a good idea. The barcode's about a thumbnail size. That's one hell of a big can. I mean, how many oranges do you think in there? 5 pounds? 6 pounds. 6.9 ounces. Oh, sorry, 6 pounds, 9 ounces. I was off. I could, just by shaking it like this, I was thinking about 5 pounds. I'm pretty good judge of weight, seeing as I barely have any strength left in me. I know when something is heavier than 5 pounds. That's usually my, okay, this is more than five. Okay, 20, it's getting heavy. And I used to be able to go up to about 40 in each hand as a dead drop. But now what I do is I can put up to 100 on me, but I have to load it onto my shoulder until my shoulder hurts for a week. Like this was just loaded into the shoulder. I just put the bags on my shoulder and it was no problem. And it's still only 5 pounds. Well, 6.9 ounces. So I can easily carry it in another hand. But I had zucchini bread with it too, because it's a friend of mine who was at work, picked this up, brought it home for me, and then I grabbed it. But it's a business in the area that I was just nice to. That's all. Just be nice to people. Oh, and you gotta tell people your problems. If you say, hey, I'm looking for food that's not quite food pantry. I'm gonna hit the food pantry every Tuesday, so don't think I'm not doing that. But I'm looking for stuff I can add to that with baking, or when I got the cornbread going. Like if you ever come across any, how about the eggs in a box? And they go, eggs in a box? Yeah, you know the egg beaters. Why for that? I got an 84-year-old with a heart condition and it stretches for months. Egg in a box lasts you like 2, 3 months. Is eggs in a 12 pack, real egg, I call that. Those only last, if you're lucky, a month. And they're both $5 right now. You get 12 large eggs for about $5, or you get around 18 large eggs worth in a carton, or what they say 24 medium, depending on who you believe, medium or large egg size. Some of the cartons will tell you 24 in every box, while others will say 18 large eggs in every box. And that's how they trick you. One will say 24 eggs in every box, while the other one will say 18 large eggs in every box. So, anyways, yeah, you get more eggs for the $5 worth. It lasts longer. You get a lot of the same protein nutrition because they add something to the egg beaters instead of the egg whites. And it really fluffs up and tastes pretty similar. If you just add a tiny bit of salt, a little bit of cheese, or something a little fatty to it, it's perfect. I usually use lard in the pan. That's my trick. Lard in the pan with egg beaters. For me. That's my Irish oats. One of my favorite full protein oats. So you get a lot more nutrition out of what I'm eating there. My Irish oats. Steel cut Irish oats. I gotta love those. It's also for the can. But the oats themselves are very meaty, unlike any other oat brand you'll buy. But you gotta boil them like hell. And I add usually banana abstract, bananas, a little bit of peanut powder, just peanuts ground up, gives a little peanut flavor. And today I added some coconut flavoring that sweetened it up with some poorly made, quickly in a rush made, golden simple syrup. I have one I tried to make banana too. That's why it's yellow colored. That's why I call it my golden simple syrup. The gold stands for a little bit of yellow dye and some banana flavoring. But I think that one's made for my roommate, so the other one in the corner has a banana. As you can see, the sugar kind of crystallized in that one. So I have to heat it up a lot more. Because if you don't heat it up enough, it will just keep on getting bigger, the crystals. Like for instance, when I was done, there was only a thin layer of crystals down here, and only a tiny bit stuck to the sides. But I knew I better boil the bottle for a whole nother hour. I boiled the liquid, poured it in, and the bottle was so cool, even though I heated the bottle, it still was cool enough that a little bit of crystalled sugar got on the sides and the bottom. Well, I gave the bottle a quick heat up, shook it up, and let it sit. As you can see, it's grown overnight to a rock candy mass at the bottom. Now that's solid, by the way. That closed yet. I'll let you get a better look. As you can see, that is a solid mass. That is not gonna break easily. You need a hammer to break that sugar. But you can boil it. And when you do boil it back into that liquid, it thickens it up and it will stop growing sugar crystals. Because you need all the sugar molecules to bond to the water, and then it takes like years for it to drop back out. But if you don't do that right, if you just give it a speed boil, and you just have a couple crystals here and a couple crystals down there, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as you wait. That's only 3 days since Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. When I came home from dropping Dave at the hospital, I made this to refill it. But I did it quickly for before bed, so I didn't want to spend all night. And now I gotta reboil it again. That's what happens when you don't go all the way through. But as you can see from the other bottle seemed to do a little better. As you can see, it has only a little bit at the bottom that's growing. Just a little bit like the first one, but it seems to be only growing in one spot like a lump. It's all the way through, and there's a little banana flavoring to that one. But they're all going to be boiled again. That one really has the gold color, because that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like gold. Did I do a good job? Because normally I just use less processed sugar like I have up there. But I already did that, and I only had about a bag left. So to fill those, I did a half a bag of less processed sugar and a quarter of a bag of regular sugar. And then I added a tiny, tiny half a drop of yellow coloring. A half a drop made it that yellow. But anyways, this is the sugar you want to make for just about everything, because it comes out with the best flavor with no bleach or chemicals involved in the process. Because that's sugar without the bleaching process. It's not raw cane sugar. Remember that. I got a lot more work to do. I'm cooking, I'm trying to put stuff away. As you can see, I'm getting storage ready. I have everything ready. I just wish I had a truck or somebody with a truck that could put this in the storage with me, or at least even just bury this shit for me. I mean, I got that storage box there, the Stanley one with the lock on it. I got that for this one reason. Then I got these. And I have a $350 DeWalt battery jacket that also runs DeWalt drills. So it's a jacket that heats up, but also runs the drills you're using. So you can be outdoors working, pull out your drill, take the battery out of your jacket, put it in the drill, do your work, you get cold, you pull it out of the drill, you put it into your jacket, and you just keep on interchanging them. And I have that all ready, and then I got that Patriots jacket. I got some stuff in case somebody tries to hit me off the road on 108. As you can see, I bundle stuff up. Been practicing on some of my constrictor knots. Got some food bags for emergencies. I even got a medicine man bag over there. Some stuff for constipation, digestion. I got peanut powder for protein. all different types of sleepy time teas, sore throat cures, tarps to stay dry, cloves. Oh, some of the best sunblock. Oh, green tea that I really don't drink anymore. Just green tea bags in a jar. I gave this to my bus driver. He gave me, the taxi driver. He gave me quite a bit of money for it. Then he gave it back to me and said if I order another one, he would give me $40. The shipping was too much. I wouldn't make anything. So he said just keep the jar. So I kept the jar. Apparently this honey is good for some people. I didn't really want to try it. I tried a lick of it to see what it was taste like before I transferred it in sale. But apparently it can cause seizures, and it's for religious purposes, it's for praying. But when I read that it might make seizures worse, not for me. So I gave it a little lick to see I took a spoon, licked it, that's it. That's it for me. And then the whole jar got sold for like a $10 profit to a bus driver. But now it's tea. Hence why it has a new label on it that says tea. That's one of my company labels. Because I used to bring this to work to advertise this in case anybody wanted to buy it. Because most people never heard of stuff like this. So when I show it up, they go, where do I get it? Where do I get it? Oh, I will never find that. So I say, give me the money. I'll get it for you. I get it on Amazon. This stuff, believe it or not, if you know what you're doing, you can find honey that was found on the cliffs of the Himalayan mountains, harvested by a bunch of Indians who don't even speak English, then sent it in for processing, just drained out of a cloth into this jar, and then you can buy it. Now, since then, a company took over, and it's not the same honey, I heard, but I wouldn't know. I'm just reading other people's reviews. I thought it might be a good sales product to add to my kind of sales list over here. I'm a tea and medicine man. Cloves, green tea. This is a tea that makes you poop. Now, most people don't know what my pooping ingredients are for teas. This is one of them. One of my secret ingredients as a laxative. You can't poop? I got the tea for you. Yes, I got this stuff for $2 a box, only if I have an apartment, and it went up a little bit. It can go as high as $5 on Amazon, or as high as $8 or $13 in the store. But I was getting it for $1.50, $2 with free shipping. So I got like 3 boxes at the time. I got one left, and that was like a year or two ago. I think I have a jar of the paste. I have also some Marilax I just ran out of. Marilax, and I have a whole med box of more stuff. Zofran, everything in between. I got stuff I found on the road too, like vape batteries that I'm going to turn into tasers, battery supplies. I find cool stuff I repurpose. I throw away the plastic, I keep the batteries. I mean, there's a lot of free lithium batteries nowadays just lying on the ground. There's a lot of free weed oil, a lot of free money, a lot of free items. I think the rich have more than they know what to do with, so they're just throwing shit out, because I've never seen so much rich shit start coming into Salvation Army stores being found on the side of the road, money just being found on the side of the road, big amounts of drugs being found. It's all just kind of like the wealthy people can dispose of it, while the poor people can't even make ends meet. And I'm seeing this more and more. As somebody with a job like a CEO, or in business, or they work for a government facility that makes weapons, or any of the above. They're a doctor. They work in the pharmaceutical industry. They produce pharmaceuticals. They produce some killing agent that's addictive, like tobacco or pills or drugs or pharmaceuticals, or they push the pharmaceuticals as a rep. Or any of these people seem to have more money than their job is worth, way more, and they throw away their money like crazy. They'll buy a $2,000 stepper or a treadmill and then never use it. That $2,000 could have kept the family alive for a long time, kept them from losing their home. But you needed a stepper. What the fuck is going on in society if the rich have goods they'll never use being thrown out to the curb the next year? Meanwhile, the poor can't even make ends meet, as the mother works a 50-hour job and the father works a 40-hour job just so they can afford the daycare because they both gotta work. So originally they only needed a 20-hour job and a 50-hour job, one part-time, one full-time. But then when the daycare cost came in, when the transportation cost came in, when they looked at all that, they figured, oh, screw. The 70 hours isn't enough. We're going to need 90 now because we're not home for the kids. So now we got to add on extra hours just for daycare. And forget the people who are disabled and homeless. They're just dead. I mean, oh no, we're screwed. I mean, there's plenty of jobs for us to take. We're just not allowed to stay at them. They just use us up, throw us out. Half the time they'll have us work for free and not pay us. Yeah. They'll offer us a job, have us sign paperwork, have us work for a month or 3 months, and then all of a sudden our checks start disappearing for months on end, and then they stop picking us up, or they stop calling, and no matter how much you call the Better Business Bureau or something like that, it never works out for the poor, especially if you can't even afford the drive. So that's how I make out. I'm able to make out on food pretty easily even without food stamps, as long as I have two things covered that I don't have to worry about. Where I'm going to live, like an apartment, a home base, and having some phone line. If I have those, I'll always have food. I'll walk a mile with gallons of water and milk on my back, making my hernia worse, just to drink clean water and eat oats. I mean, I will live off rice, oats, bread for sometimes months by just adding like a little honey to the bread, or just moving one cheap thing. Like I used to get sick of just drinking water when I was homeless. So what do you do when you have no money? You make lemonade. When life gives you water, go find some lemon packets and some sugar packets and make lemonade with it. It's a saying I invented that I ended up showing to all the homeless. I said, if you get a free water with ice, and they started charging 27 cents at this one place because everybody started coming to get the waters, all the homeless. And they said, why are all the homeless wanting waters, lemon packets, and sugar packets all of a sudden? Because if you put 4 sugar packets, 2 lemon packets into the water and stir it up, you now have a lemonade. And homeless people are sick of drinking water that has chlorine in it, that gives you weird farts, drinking water from the back that Zach only knows about in the back of a special place, drinking water out of the different places that they must know about, drinking backwash water from the river that they try to filter. I mean, of course, doing this is better. And of course, they charge for water over $1 a piece now. It used to be free, then it was 27 cents. Then they made it 51 cents. Now I hear it's $1 something last time I asked and I walked in. Yes, tap water that's probably contaminated with lead is now cost $1. Yes, the UN based water as a human basic need that should not be sold or as one's property. Yes, when you go to a water source, that is as much your property as any company that tries to drain it. But yet, the corporations have set themselves up good to sell us back our own water. Yes, the water that you own. You own that water that they're pumping out, and then they're selling it back to you. You pay city taxes. You pay taxes to the water companies that supply water. And then some company will pump that water out. They'll say they filter it when you could probably filter it even better yourself, and then they sell it back to you. If you look up online, a lot of them are even adding extra fluoride to it. What is that all about? If it's bottled water, shouldn't you be able to choose unfluorinated? I mean, they got evaporated. They got all these other types of waters. You couldn't make one water without any fluoride in it? Why is there no unfluoridated option? I mean, couldn't I make $1 million by just slapping no fluoride in this bottle of water on the label, seeing as every single bottle of water on the shelf has fluoride in it? If you go to the grocery store, every single water bottle that you buy on that shelf has fluoride in it. You can look up the levels. So if I made a water company called water with no fluoride water, just make it really big on the bottle so everybody knows what they're getting. You're getting water and nothing else. No fluoride, no lead, no minerals, just evaporated or spring water with no fluoride. Fluoride free, big on the label. But why don't I see that in the stores? Why are people with no teeth, babies, pregnant women, forced to drink fluoride? If you're pregnant, you should have a choice. If you have no teeth, you should have a choice. If you're giving water to your baby and boiling up some milk powder, and you're trying to find unfluoridated water for this milk powder, well, don't you want a choice? Don't you want to walk into a grocery store and have a choice between evaporated water, distilled water, spring water, the one that's like 9.2 pH, whatever water, and then you can have unfluorinated water by Zach. Now that's a good patented item, something the public needs badly, but doesn't have, that is easy to patent and make. You just sell back water just like these companies are doing. Water is really easy to access. You pay a company, a town, and they'll let you suck their water dry. But what are you going to do with it? If you're paying for water that most people get from their taxes, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to sell it. I'm going to take the fluoride out of it and resell it to the public. We'll call it unfluorinated water. That would be a great thing I would buy. I have no teeth. Anybody with dentures, any pregnant women, and anybody breastfeeding or trying to even bottle feed, they're all going to want unfluorinated water. It's impossible to find unfluorinated water. You have to buy a $200, $300 system if you just want to make tap water unfluorinated again. The water isn't fluorinated to begin with. We add that. Why? Why is there no choice with no fluoride? Because the government must know something we don't. Because fluoride builds up on your pituitary gland. Why can't I say that all of a sudden? This one's a memory problem, I think, not a Seneca. Well, no, I'm saying in my head just right. Pituitary. Yeah. What? Pituitary gland. Yeah, see, my nervous system can't keep up. I just said it right in my head like 40 times, and I only think one of those was correct. Pituitary. Pituitary gland. See, that's the shock in the back. I can get it halfway through, and then I start getting electrocuted. But I obviously can say it right because I said it right, a couple of them. But anyways, that builds up with calcium buildups from the fluorinated water, and that is your mind's eye. That is what you dream with. That is what you use to contact God, Jesus Christ. People who are spiritual and have a higher connection with Jesus Christ usually have a pituitary gland that is larger and less decalcified. They're not sure why this is, but people who have a bigger mind's eye, they can picture a red apple as red perfectly as an apple in their mind. They also have great big dreams that they remember. They also seem to have great religious experiences when they walk in the church. They're super spiritual. They just feel this great feeling. That's your pituitary gland. That is what is responsible for those religious experiences, some of your feelings, a lot to do with your body, even your energy levels at times. Why would your government want you to get a big shell around that? Is it to keep us from waking up? Because that is the same part of your brain that would wake you up to some of the things that the rich or the government are doing to hold you back. It also makes you very hyper in productivity. Yes, they found a connection to ADHD children and the parents drinking large amounts of fluoride. They did this in many trials where they gave pregnant mice and pregnant women fluoride water, and then they gave non-fluorinated water that had to be created specially just for this test, and then they gave it to these rats and these test subjects and saw what happened. And this has been an ongoing test, and it's been recreated several times now, and it's something that's been talked about. And what they've shown, this is a connection with hyperactivity and concentration issues with mothers who drank fluorinated water when pregnant. The kids end up hyperactive and running around like crazy kids. Well, if I was pregnant, I would want to go into the grocery store and buy myself unfluorinated water. And I don't see that on any grocery shelf. I don't see that on any shelf in America. I don't see a single bottle of water that's unfluorinated. They all have fluorine. I keep on wanting to say it like chlorine. Fluoride. Oh my God, why can't I? Oh my God, my meds are. Oh, let me guess. Yeah, I took it at 4 a.m. instead of 6 like I'm supposed to. So that would mean I'm supposed to take it at 4 again, and it's 1:30. Yeah, that will do it. That means I only have 2.5 hours until my next dose of epilepsy medication that brings my speech partly back to normal. If I was allowed to get a diagnosis and actual better epilepsy medication, like the doctors listen to me, instead of some crazy people, I could get better. Okay, I just need this epilepsy medication, I need this epilepsy medication, and I need the paperwork regarding this disorder that started at age 7. I would be better overnight. I would hit the pharmacy, my speech would be better, my walking would be better. Now, I would want to try all the non controlled substances they have. I wouldn't want to start with Lyrica, that's one of the worst ones I've tried. It works just the same as gabapentin for me, but it gets you way more fucked up. So not a good choice for me. Out of the question. Benzos at low milligrams, like 1 milligram, have been good, but they're addictive. Again, I don't want benzos, but Ativan has been successful without giving me any high feeling at 1 to 2 milligrams. So they could give me 1 milligram of Ativan or the equivalent of that, and or diazepan's another word for it. Usually when you Google it, it'll be under diazepam, just like Lyrica's under progabalin, and gabapentin is under Neurontin, what is a gabalin producer as well, but it's only, your brain can only absorb 3,200 milligrams of gabalin at any given time, so you don't really want to go much higher than 600 milligrams because that should be enough to boost your natural production back up. I know this because I take gabapentin for other reasons. Not right now because my doctors suck. They'll give it to me for anxiety, or if I say I'm afraid, or if I'm homeless living in the woods, they'll throw any pill I want at me. But I say I have epilepsy and I know that meds that can help me, and they're like, no, no, we don't see anything. No doctor's ever treated you for this. We're too afraid to treat you for anything other than your mother's bullshit. See, we have hundreds of doctors giving you every med in the book. So we know you're not going to be able to sue us for giving you these meds because you already were given it here and here. And look at this, at age 12, you were taking it here and here and here and here and here. So we don't mind giving you those drugs like Adderall, Ritalin, Xanax, Ativan, gabapentin. Give me all these different opiates in the hospital. Give me all different types of opiate painkillers, Suboxone, methadone. They don't care about giving me those. They don't care about giving me Thorazine for sleep, Seroquel for sleep, Trazodone for sleep. But Trazodone is by far the worst one for me because it doesn't do it, it doesn't work, and it comes with a lot of side effects. Thorazine by far I thought was working gently until my legs didn't seem to work too great, and now I'm wondering, and that was just bad idea. And it was all based upon my mother's advice and the hospital. They're the ones who told me I should take Thorazine, Seroquel, and Trazodone every night for sleep because it will do other great things for me. Those full of shit assholes. My mother, father, and the doctors trying to fool me like that. All because my mother had fantasies. And nobody wanted to discuss that my mother had fantasies. So what? I have to have doctors all confused now when I have treatment where it could put me right in order really quick, and then I don't have to worry about walking outside in winter, having a seizure, waking up bloody in the middle of the night, frozen, passing back out, waking up in the hospital as they told me I was in a coma for 3 days and they had to bring me back to life again. Well, last time it was a day, but this time it would probably be forever. I'll probably just die, but that's not the point. We've had so many near-death experiences. We've had so many close calls that I can't go out living. I need an apartment. I need a mailing address and a phone. Without that, I might as well just blow myself up, hang myself, take this out on the right people, teach people a lesson, do whatever the fuck kills me quickest. Because I'm already going to die probably at the end of the week. I mean, I'll be dying that night. I'll freeze to death. Somebody will find me unconscious. By the next day, I'll be in the emergency room. Then they'll release me. There's 3 days. Then they'll do the same thing over and over until I'm dead. We'll just go in a big circle of pain and suffering until I die. And it won't take long either. But I'm not going to die that slow, painful death while other people just gather around at the dancing monkey they're making dance. I'm not dancing for nobody. I'll go into the hospital. You can make me better. If you don't want to, I'll take care of this on my own, and you won't like how I do it. So why don't you get your shit together and give me what I asked for is what getting better. If you want me to go crazy, if you want me to turn into the person my mother made me out to be, okay, what did she say I was? Let's use this against them. Let me see. My mother called me homicidal because I burned some slug slime. Well, we know that that doesn't mean I'm homicidal at all, and it doesn't mean I'm torturing animals because I'm putting a match on slime, but we can use that because now we have it on my record. I'm homicidal when I'm not. So I might as well start acting like it because after 25 years, I've never acted homicidal once in my life. I always let people beat on me. Well, except for when I was homeless, I stood up for myself pretty good then. But I've always been the pushover. Everybody's always getting a leg over me. Even my younger nephew called me names, used to bully me, and I would let him. So we know I'm not that type of person. But how about the rest of my family? Oh yeah, they'll tear me to pieces. They're happy to cause damage that would result in my death. My mother couldn't care if she killed me or not by accident. She had no consideration of my safety or well-being, or my education, or my future, or the meds or side effects or the drugs she was putting me through, or what she was saying to the doctors, or the story she was telling about me. She didn't care to try to do the right thing in any of those circumstances. So yeah, I'm kind of screwed unless my family picked me up and started working on this issue, because it is their problem. It's not like I forced my mother and father to lie to doctors, because that's all we need to do. We need to clear up my mother's and father's lies, and then I need to get epilepsy medication for the disease I have because my mother and father did something they weren't supposed to. But that's the only two things that need to happen. I need to clean up somebody else's mess, somebody else's lies, somebody else's slanders, somebody else bearing false witness against me. That has to be cleared up by the truth. How do you clear up a bunch of lies? You speak the truth. That's all. Well, I've done that. Then what's the problem? Oh, it's just me out here. It's just me hanging out here by myself doing the right thing. We got everybody else trying to just profit and have as much fun as possible, vacationing, driving. While they drive their car, they're thinking, I'll do it some other time. Maybe I'll call Zach next year. No, it won't go well. I'll leave him to die. Meanwhile, they don't even realize you're driving a car. Meanwhile, you're making a decision that can make sure I never drive again. I haven't driven in 15 years. But I had a learner's permit. I was confused at 16, but I got it anyways. I didn't know if it was the right thing to do. I can't control my movements of my arms and legs, and I know something is wrong, and I know this car is going to crash sometime out of my control. But is it okay to do that and hurt other people? I didn't know the answer to that question at 16. My mother and father knew I had coordination issues, but they still wanted to try to put me through that, and I thought it was a great idea. I get to drive to my friend's house, I get food. I still think it's a great idea to make me profit, to make my life easier. But is it a good idea for the safety of the town and the places I'm in? Is it a good idea for my own safety? Absolutely not. Not until we have a diagnosis and epilepsy medication. I checked this through a doctor. If you know you're gonna crash a car, if you know you're gonna have problems moving your arms and legs, then you can't do that thing and risk other people's lives. I've talked to Priest about it. I said, if I listened to my father and I drove then, and I did figure this out back then, and let's say I drove, what would have happened? And as to my soul, he goes, did you know something was wrong with you? Well, kind of. I didn't know what to call it. I just said I couldn't drive because I couldn't pass a test, but we knew that wasn't true because I already passed the test. But the test was giving me difficulty, especially in the fact that I'm just not really knowing if it's the right thing to do or not. But the priest said I made the right choice. Putting other lives at risk is never the right choice. If you think putting another person's life at risk for your own choices, your own decisions, or your own secrets, you are going to burn. No matter, unless you ask for forgiveness and try to make it right with the person you're hurting, it doesn't matter how much you pray on your deathbed. Those deathbed confessions, if every single one counted, Hitler would be in heaven right next to you. So if you want a deathbed confession to count for you, just remember Hitler, Mussolini, Attila the Hun, They all prayed on their deathbed to their gods too. And I believe, if I remember right, Hitler was Catholic, right? So that means that all Catholics that think that they can ask for forgiveness on their deathbed get automatic forgiveness. If you believe that, you have to hang out with Hitler in heaven. Yep, you're up there with Hitler. Yeah. Do you think that guy should be up there? Hitler? Because he prayed on his deathbed. We all know he prayed for forgiveness on his deathbed for all his sins. And did he even know what his sins were? Because you really can't be forgiven if you're not even being like, if you don't even consider killing a Jew a sin. So if Hitler doesn't know what his sins are, could he really be forgiven? Can my father be forgiven if he doesn't admit to me or talk to me about some of the things he did with his wife to me? Because he might not even realize he did them. He might not even realize he nodded his head and then I got seriously hurt. He might just remember that as I'm nodding my head at some doctor's office. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But how the hell am I responsible? I just showed up. I just fucking spent the money. She said spend it. I spent it. How is that my fault? Well, because you're not talking to me and you're not doing anything about it. You're causing more damage every day you wait to handle this. I've played every card I can play. I'm going to keep playing. Go to the doctor. Go to Social Security. Tell the truth. Go to church. Do the right thing. But this is the end of the road, I'm pretty sure. This is it. It's Monday. I'm trying to get an extension to the end of October, but it doesn't look like this is going to work. Not at all. It looks like tomorrow I got to be out of here. Now, hopefully, I get the call back from 2 different doctors, Social Security, and a bunch of other people so I can set up 1 more month here before I set up the storage, because I want the storage first. But David is digging his heels in, dragging his ass, and he's never getting anything done. And I don't have the money. I get stuff done on a $0 budget. I mean, David is eating off of my food when I have a $0 budget and he has money. Why did he spend 2.5 weeks eating somebody else's food? Because I'm not going to starve the man. No way. Now, did he ever buy me food? No. He would pay like $170 is the most I ever saw him put to the house. While the least I ever put to food was about $250, $200. The most I ever put to food was about $600. Yes, the average for me is about $200 in the beginning of the month and then $200 at the end of the month. That's usually how I do it. On the 5th, 1 big shop, and then I got 1 smaller shop sometimes at the end. Or I do equal shops on the 5th and at the end. That way it kind of, you never run out. And I also look for food in between, like this giant can of oranges. I won't get any scurvy. Yeah, with that much vitamin C, I'll be scurvy free for the rest of my life. No, that's not how it works. That's a joke. See, that's another thing. People might not pick up on my jokes. I realize that scurvy is something that comes back with a lack of vitamins. I know that if I ate this whole can, I still would run out of those vitamins eventually, and it wouldn't last even a year. No, wait, no, not even a couple months, most likely. I'll probably get scurvy within 6 months of not having any more citrus at all. But if you listen to these videos, you may see Zach is a moron. He thinks that you can eat a whole can of oranges and you'll never get scurvy for the rest of your life. That's not how it works. And he likes Irish oatmeal just because it says the word Irish. Because I do like the word Irish, and maybe I say that at times, but that's not why. It's the meatiness. I swear there's more meat and protein and vitamins, because you can just look at it. It's just a whole grain. It's just like a whole nut in there, and it soaks up the water forever. You gotta boil it forever, too.